Ready? 3, 2, 1. So we're joined by Mark from Calder United today. Mark, can you give us a background on your coaching experience so far?
So basically, as I said, I could probably go on a fair bit, but I'll be pretty brief. Played the game at a fairly decent level here in Australia, then moved overseas into the UK for a couple of seasons, 3 seasons when I was about 21, 22.
Yeah.
And that was, I guess, when I started coaching and became passionate about the game. Lucky enough to meet some really good people there that encouraged me that I still stay in regular contact with now.
Yep.
Came back here and basically started coaching at a pretty young age in the old VPL with Calder United.
Yeah.
They took a punt on me as a young guy, and I coached them from state 2 we might have been when I started there. We got promoted every single year into the old VPL, and basically played finals the whole time that I was there.
Yeah.
Which was great. But then not finals. I mean just top 4, top 6 stuff. And during that time, I had the opportunities, because I was a goalkeeper and I was a goalkeeper coach.
Yep.
I had the opportunities to work with the girls NTC program for 3 or 4 years with people like Steph Catley, Bree Davey. They were all within that program. Ash Brown, so some of the best sort of young Matildas at the time. From that opportunity, I was able to be the goalkeeper coach for Melbourne Victory for the girls for 3 seasons.
Wow.
Was part of that championship year and runners-up year. 2014-15. So, that was a great opportunity. And again, that was stuff that I guess influenced me to coach and continue coaching at the highest level. And then obviously when the NPL started, Bundoora didn't get the NPL license, but Calder United obviously was born. And I was sort of recruited over there, and I guess the rest is history. Just continued coaching and being at this level for a while now. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so last week, a couple of weeks ago, we had a discussion on women's and football, and we had a look at a wide range of topics. So I kind of want to see, in your experience, what you've seen so far, so some of the issues and ways that we can improve it.
One thing that sticks in my mind, and I guess it's a little bit of a vision and philosophy that I instill in what I do when I coach, is I guess the equality of the game and making sure that the girls also get everything. When I say everything, I don't mean the same as the boys. I mean just get everything that they should be getting. I look back on when I was part of the NTC program with the girls, and I look at why people like Steph Catley and that probably progress as well as they did, is because we were playing against boys regularly as well as playing girls. So the NTC program back then would play a boys team on a Wednesday night, for example. And then the girls would end up playing either with NTC or with their club back on the weekend. And I can definitely see the benefits from that. Hence why I'm a bit of an advocate about girls playing regularly against boys, probably boys of around the same level. Like we often put girls in situations and say, oh, they should be playing against, if they're an under 16 girl, we say, oh, they should be playing against the under 12s. And I'm like, well, why? Why can't the under 16 girls just play against under 16 boys and see how they go, So we've got a little bit of a vision and a philosophy at our club where we try and encourage all our players where they can to have games against boys. So during a pre-season, we'd have our under 16 girls try and play against the under 12 boys, under 14 boys, whatever. But with the senior women at Calder, we try and play an under 20 an under 20 community side or an under 20 NPL side. As prep, because we believe that that's something that's important. And that's one thing that's stuck in my mind as a coach is ever since back then when, Steph Catley, who's now almost captain for the Matildas, who's one of the best players probably in the world, is as good as she is because she constantly played against boys as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. And, that said it really well there. Any other things that you've seen so far, or anything else?
Listen, the being part of it for so long I've seen obviously lots of changes and lots of differences in things and in the game. But there's not a lot that we're doing wrong, if that makes any sense, because the game has progressed pretty well. The only thing that I like to see, it's probably going to come up later on when we have a bit more conversation about a few other questions,
Yeah.
they're going to raise is the only thing that I like to see is let's just make it equal. Let's make it a little bit more what the girls deserve rather than let's give them what the boys want. Let's give them what they deserve. And they deserve everything. The way I look at it, they deserve everything. So, like a simple thing as prize money, for example, for winning competitions is something that stands out with me is you win a competition. It shouldn't be based on because you're a female or you're a male that you get more or less. So we were lucky enough to win most things last year with Calder Senior Women. And if I look at another team in maybe the men's competition, they won the same. And they might have got double the prize money or whatever, So that's something that is slightly frustrating. But I guess with more and more people sort of advocating and, really wanting the game to progress, that might change, who knows.
That's perfect. Cool. Thank you. That was nice and quick. That was perfect.
Yep, no worries.
There's another one that I'm sort of working on in the background. I think you might be good at this. Looking at what the role and responsibility of a club should be for a player, like whether it is just looking at other coaches there just to, teach the player to be a footballer, or does it go beyond that?
It definitely goes beyond that. And again, probably more just speaking from some experience is you've got to understand the player and you've got to understand the needs of that person. And it's no different, male or female. You've got to understand their needs and what they want and how they tick, basically. And one thing that I'm pretty strong at, I think, as a coach is the management of those type of things. Like I like to talk to my players and I like to make sure that they're comfortable. I like to make sure that there's no underlying issues to when they come into training. Not that I'll sit there and ask for every bit of their personal life, more just, hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can help you with? And if there's something, for example, that I sense that might be, not right, for example, I'll ask after training or I'll put in a call or I'll send a message and just say, hey, you didn't look yourself tonight. Is everything okay? So that's something as simple as where I go with how I coach. It's probably the management of the situation. And I think that's key to your relationship as a coach to your players. Then they give you respect. Then they'll play for you. And as I'm not going to big note any situations, but I feel like that's why we've been pretty successful as Calder United is because the players have responded. You know what I mean? They respond to me caring, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally agree with that. That sort of, the mutual respect comes from knowing each other. Cool. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want me to touch on? Is there any other anything else you want?
Is there anything that you feel as though that is relevant that's not being looked at in the game?
No, the only thing that I could suggest is people. There's people like yourself that probably have an interest in making sure the game get better. I think recognition and more of this type of thing. There's one thing that I've noticed being involved in the game is when you talk to the girls about the game in general, it's being acknowledged and publicly. Just being acknowledged, knowing that someone cares and knowing that there's someone out there that wants to improve the game. Like last year, obviously, it was a big thing for all games to go, live on YouTube, for example. That was huge for the players. That was so appreciative. So little things like what you're doing, where there's conversation, there's increasing the status of the game for the players and stuff. That's huge. So that's one thing that I wish that it could increase. And, it might come from their fee, might come from yourself, might come from another private, operation that might say, let's do this or let's do that. But constantly putting the girls on a stage where they can be acknowledged and I guess, seen.